Fayetteville, West Virginia, a small unassuming town, nestled in the Appalachian Mountains. Here, George Sodder, an Italian immigrant, and his wife, Jennie, built their lives. They had a bustling household, 10 children in total. George had worked hard. He owned a trucking business. He was known for his strong opinions. Sometimes those opinions made enemies. But on Christmas Eve, 1945, their home was meant to be a place of joy, a place of celebration. Little did they know, a shadow was falling. A long, dark shadow. The evening began like any other Christmas Eve, filled with anticipation. The older children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie Jr., and Betty, were excited. They had persuaded their mother to let them stay up late, later than their younger siblings. Presents had been opened. Toys were scattered. The warmth of the season filled the wooden house. But outside, the night was cold. And something else was stirring, something that would shatter their festive peace. Forever. Then, the phone rang. Strange. It was late. Jennie answered. A woman on the line, asking for someone unfamiliar. A wrong number, perhaps, but her laugh. It was peculiar, unsettling. Jennie hung up, a sense of unease creeping in. She noticed the lights were still on, the front door unlocked. Odd. She dismissed it, attributed it to the children's late-night activities. She went to bed, thinking all was well. It was not. Darkness enveloped the Sodder home, the children asleep in their attic rooms, George and Jennie in their downstairs bedroom, the younger children also safe, or so they thought. Then, just after 1 a.m, Jennie awoke, the smell of smoke, thick, acrid. She roused George. Panic, the house was on fire, a nightmare unfolding on Christmas, the most sacred of nights. Their world was about to turn to ash, and questions, so many questions. The fire, it was a monster, consuming everything in its path, the wooden staircase to the attic, already an inferno. George, desperate, he had to reach his children. Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie, Betty, trapped. He raced outside, thinking of his ladder. It was always in the same spot, always, but now, it was gone, vanished, as if into thin air. How could this be? Why now? He thought of his trucks, 2 of them. He could drive one to the house, climb it, reach the attic window, a desperate plan. But a plan nonetheless. He tried to start the first truck, nothing. It wouldn't turn over. He tried the second, the same result. Both trucks, inexplicably dead. At the most crucial moment, he tried to call for help. The phone line, also dead. Cut, it would later seem. Was this all a terrible coincidence, or something far more sinister? The fire department. Fayetteville was small. The station just 2.5 miles away. But help was slow, agonizingly slow. By the time firefighters arrived, the Sodder home was a blazing ruin, collapsing in on itself. There was little they could do. The house burned until morning, leaving only a smoking basement, and a gaping hole in a family's heart. 5 children, gone, or were they? The official word came quickly. The children had perished in the fire, their bodies incinerated, completely. No remains found, not a bone, not a tooth. The fire chief said the blaze was hot enough to turn 5 young bodies to nothing but ash. George and Jennie, they listened, but they couldn't believe it. Something felt wrong, deeply wrong. The seeds of doubt were sown. They would grow for decades, haunting them. Then came the whispers, stories from the town, strange sightings. On that fiery Christmas night, a man was seen, stealing a block and tackle from near the Sodder property, weeks before the fire. Could it be connected to the missing ladder? Another witness saw people in a car, parked along the highway, watching the Sodder house burn. Just watching, not offering help. Who were they? What did they know? More accounts surfaced. A woman running a tourist stop, miles away. She claimed she saw the Sodder children the morning after the fire, in a car, with Florida license plates. She said she served them breakfast. They were with 2 men and 2 women. Italian-looking, she described them. Could they have been taken, snatched from the flames? The thought, however painful, offered a sliver of hope. A hope they clung to, desperately. The Sodders refused to let their children be forgotten. They hired a private investigator, C.C. Tinsley. He uncovered disturbing things: an insurance salesman. He had threatened George, tried to sell him a policy. George refused. The salesman warned him his house would go up in smoke, his children would be destroyed. Because of the dirty remarks George made about Mussolini, George was openly critical. Anti-Italian sentiment was rife. Was this revenge? For years their search continued. They put up a billboard on Route 16, near Ansted, the faces of their 5 lost children. A reward offered, information wanted. It became a landmark, a constant, heartbreaking reminder. Then, in 1967, more than 20 years later, a letter arrived, postmarked from Kentucky. Inside, a photograph, a young man bearing a striking resemblance to their son Louis. On the back, a cryptic message: Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie. Little boys. A 90132 or 35. Was it him? Could it be? Theories abounded, each one a twisting path, leading to more questions. Kidnapping seemed plausible to the Sodders, perhaps by the mafia. George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini, it had made him enemies, powerful enemies. Or was it a local vendetta, someone closer to home, someone who knew their routines, knew where the ladder was kept, knew about the trucks? The possibilities were endless, and endlessly tormenting. What if the authorities were right? What if the children did die in the fire, but the lack of remains? It gnawed at George and Jennie. They consulted a crematorium employee, who told them bones would remain, even after a 2-hour cremation at 2,000 degrees. The Sodder fire burned for perhaps 45 minutes. Was it truly intense enough, hot enough to obliterate every trace? Many experts hired by the family said no, it simply wasn't possible. The Sodder family never stopped searching, never stopped hoping. Jennie wore black every day for the rest of her life, a mother's quiet, constant mourning, a testament to her undying love and her unyielding uncertainty. They followed every lead, every whisper, every possible clue. George once saw a picture in a New York magazine, a young ballet dancer. He was convinced it was Betty. He drove to New York, but the girl's family denied him access. Heartbreak upon heartbreak. The mystery of the Sodder children. It endures, unsolved, unfathomable. It has become a part of American folklore, a chilling Christmas tale, a story of unimaginable loss, and an unshakable belief that the truth was out there, somewhere. What really happened that night? Did 5 children burn to death, or were they spirited away into the darkness? The questions, they linger still, hanging heavy in the West Virginia air, a mystery that time refuses to forget.